Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at a really interesting case
Yeah.
from Pakistani TikTok.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one.
Yeah, and specifically the case of Imsha Rehman. So this one is kind of blown up online.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
If you're following this world at all, you've probably already heard the basics, leaked videos and a lot of social media backlash. And eventually she just deactivated her accounts.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to kind of go beyond just the headlines with this one and really explore her journey, like what led up to this point, and also, this is something that keeps happening. So
Yeah.
what can we learn from this
Mm.
for like online culture as a whole?
Well, I think it's so interesting, because it really highlights like the downsides of internet fame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The vulnerability, the pressure, and just the real consequences, you know what I mean, when your private life becomes public.
It's so true. And it's easy to get caught up in like the gossip.
Oh, absolutely.
But we have to remember there's a real person at the center of this.
Yes. This is someone's life.
100%.
And we don't know a ton about her background
Right.
before all of this. But she was a rising star on TikTok in Pakistan, and she had a huge following. It seems
Sure.
like it happened pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, it did.
Which is interesting in itself. Someone can get so famous so fast, but we don't really know anything about them.
And I think that actually like adds to the problem.
Oh, how so?
Well, because people rush to judge,
Mhm.
online especially, without really knowing the full story.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and you mentioned the leaked videos, so let's get into that. These were private videos, right?
Right.
Shared without her consent, and they first showed up, it seems like, on WhatsApp,
Yeah, it seems like it.
and then spread everywhere else, to X, to Instagram.
It's crazy how fast that happens.
I know.
And no one seems to know who leaked them either.
Which is scary, right?
It's really scary.
Because you start to think, like, even if I'm being careful online, someone could still, like, hack my account
Right.
or leak stuff.
You just never know. It's unsettling.
Totally.
Yeah, so she was basically dealing with all of this stuff,
Yeah.
the leaked videos being everywhere.
And the reaction was intense.
It was intense. She faced a ton of online shaming harassment, and it's just so sad to see.
Absolutely. And she ended up deactivating both her Instagram and TikTok accounts.
Both of them.
Both.
Wow.
Yeah. And in her last message, she said, "The backlash has been overwhelming."
I can't even imagine. That must have been so hard.
It's heartbreaking. It really shows the impact this kind of thing can have on someone's mental health.
It makes you think twice,
Yeah,
about what you say online.
absolutely.
Because the words have power. And this isn't even the first time we've seen something like this.
Not even close.
Remember Amita Malik?
Oh, yeah, another Pakistani TikTok star.
Very similar situation.
Yeah, leaked videos, backlash, and she also left social media.
But hers had that added layer to it, right?
It did.
Because there was speculation that the leak was intentional for publicity.
Like a stunt.
Yeah, yeah. And actress Mishi Khan called her out publicly.
Which is interesting because it shows how suspicious people are,
Yeah.
of internet fame.
It's almost like they assume everyone's just doing it for attention.
In a way, yeah.
And in her final post, Manahel talked about the pressure, denied doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just sad all around.
Both of these cases are really eye-opening.
They are, and it makes you think about the good and bad of online fame.
For sure.
Because it can give you this huge platform,
Right?
but then it leaves you open to all this judgment and scrutiny too.
Absolutely.
It makes you really question how we're all behaving online.
It does.
Like, are we being empathetic?
Yeah. Are we part of the problem?
That's a great point. And I think that's something we need to explore further.
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe after a quick break, we can dive into that a bit more.
Sounds good. It's a good question to ask,
It is. It's like, where do we even draw the line anymore?
Exactly. What even is privacy online these days?
Yeah. Especially for someone like Imsha, whose whole career was built on TikTok.
Right.
Like, that level of exposure, it just comes with so much risk.
Think about it. Like, even if you're super careful about what you post,
Uh-huh.
there's always a chance someone could hack you or leak something.
Right.
That feeling of control we think we have,
Yeah.
it's kind of an illusion.
It really is. It's scary.
Yeah.
And it's not just for influencers either.
No, not at all.
Anyone could be a victim of this.
Absolutely.
Makes you think.
It does.
So whose responsibility is it then?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Is it up to us to just be super careful, or should these platforms be doing more?
I don't know.
It's tough.
It's a tough one. And then there's the whole other side of this too.
What's that?
The backlash.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the internet just becomes a judge and jury.
Instantly.
Instantly.
And people are so quick to condemn.
It's brutal. And we saw that with Imsha.
We did.
It was so intense that she felt like she had to leave social media altogether.
It's a reminder of how much power the internet really has.
It is. It's like one comment, one post can just blow up and take on a life of its own.
Exactly.
And for the person on the receiving end.
Oh, it's devastating.
Yeah, it's awful.
And a lot of times it's anonymous, too.
That's true. That makes it even worse.
Right? People feel like they can say anything.
Because they're hiding behind a screen name.
Exactly. They wouldn't say it to your face.
It's wild. We've talked about privacy, the backlash, but there's this other piece, too.
Okay, what's that?
It's like online shaming has become a culture.
It really has.
Like it's expected almost.
It's like we've normalized public humiliation.
It's so messed up, and it's always so fast, too.
It is. There's no nuance, no context.
No room for growth?
Exactly. And that's where empathy needs to come in.
100%.
Like with Imsha, people were so focused on judging her,
Right.
they forgot she's a person.
It's sad.
It is so... How do we even start to change this?
Well, I think we need to pause before we judge.
Consider different perspectives. Remember, there's a human on the other side of the screen.
It sounds so simple, but I think we forget that.
We do. We really do. We need to be actively promoting kindness online.
I love that.
Supporting each other, challenging hate speech. It all matters.
And honestly, shaming people online, it doesn't even work.
It's true. It usually makes things worse.
Yeah, pushes people away.
Instead of helping them.
What if we focused on being more constructive?
Right, like having real conversations, reporting violations to the platform.
Trying to understand each other.
Exactly. And we need to be careful about what we're sharing, too.
Oh, yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the drama.
It is.
Yeah.
But we need to fact check, be critical thinkers.
And if we're not sure about something...
Don't share it.
Exactly.
No.
But it's not just on us, though, right?
No, not entirely.
These platforms have a huge role to play, too.
They do.
They need to be creating safer environments for everyone.
Absolutely.
Better content moderation, more privacy controls.
And they need to be transparent.
Yeah.
We need to know how our data is being used.
It's a two-way street.
It is. They provide the space, but we decide how to use it.
And every click, every comment, it all adds up.
It does. So it's worth asking ourselves, what kind of online world do we want to create?
That's a big question, and one I think we'll need to keep exploring. Yeah, it's easy to focus on all the bad stuff online.
It really is.
But we have to remember, we can actually change things.
We have the power.
Yeah. Imsha's story is like a wake-up call.
Yeah, it shows how quickly things can get out of hand.
And how much our actions can affect other people.
It's a reminder that online fame is a complicated thing.
It is. It comes with so much baggage.
Yeah. Huge opportunities, but huge risks, too.
And this whole culture of online shaming, it affects all of us, really.
It does. We're all vulnerable.
So we need to be talking about this more,
Absolutely, having open and honest conversations.
About privacy, about how these platforms work.
And how we can all be more responsible online.
Yeah. The platforms need to do their part.
For sure.
But we need to step up, too.
We can't just sit back and complain.
Right. Like, we need to be the change.
Exactly. Choose empathy over judgment.
Stand up to hate speech.
And refuse to participate in online shaming.
It's about changing our mindset.
Moving away from punishment.
And toward understanding and growth.
Because at the end of the day, we're all human.
We all make mistakes.
And the internet shouldn't be a place where we tear each other down.
It should be an extension of our values.
Exactly. Kindness. Respect, compassion.
So before we go, I want to leave you with one last thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about the role you play in all of this.
That's a good one.
What kind of online world do you want to be part of?
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves.
Because the choice is really ours.
It is. We can choose to be part of the problem or part of the solution.
And I hope this deep dive has given you some things to think about.
Me too.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep it kind online.